Hey, what's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and these are my favorite albums from the month of January. And hey, if you like to be kept up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. Alright, as you saw from that clip, first we have death metal project Anapest kicking off 2021 on a serious high note with January 1st's Dark Arms reached Skyward with Bone White Fingers. Anapest is a solo female-fronted technical and progressive death metal band based out of Montreal, Quebec. Most of the songs on this album reference the characters, stories, plot, and imagery of the Evangelion series, but what instantly grabbed my attention was the sheer intensity of the music, which is a combination of all things heavy, be it death metal, grindcore, mathcore, or anything in between. I can't even really shout out a single track on this one, as all of them are bangers. But there are some notable and quality guest appearances, including Jason Evans of Ingested and Vulvodynia's Duncan Bentley. Think high-octane and utterly brutal music from the likes of Beyond Creation, Inferi, Archspire, Entheos, the Faceless, and Abnormality all chopped up in a blender. I know it just started, but this may end up being one of the best tech death metal albums of the year already, and it's easily one of the most impressive independent releases I have reviewed on the channel overall. Of course, we can't talk about January metal without mentioning Tribulation and their new album Where the Gloom Becomes Sound via Metal Blade Records. Tribulation is the Swedish Grammy Award-winning metal band who took the world by storm with their 2015 album Children of the Night, following that critically acclaimed Ode to Darkness with Down Below in 2018. And while during that time I have kind of turned my nose up at their particular brand of gothic rock, actually preferring the more at-the-gates energy of the debut album The Horror, this one really turned things around for me. I was pretty underwhelmed reacting to the single for Hour of the Wolf, but I can always admit when I'm wrong. Where the Gloom Becomes Sound is a fantastic record and likely their finest hour, fusing the usual elements of rock, doom metal, gothic, chic, and black metal, now with increased influences from new wave of British heavy metal, progressive, and classic rock. The step up in songwriting and performances makes for a glorious tightrope walk between the abject misery of the atmosphere with strangely energetic and memorable riffs. I'm even picking up on some subtle notes of Opeth on incredible tracks like Leviathans, Daughter of the Djinn, and Funeral Pyre. I will say that with him responsible for the majority of the songwriting, I only wonder how the band will press on without Jonathan in the future. Next, it's the sophomore album from death grind band Werewolves. What a Time to Be Alive via Prosthetic Records. Werewolves are an Australian group featuring members of various other projects including Psychroptic, Imperium, The Berserker, and more that seem to have impeccable timing with each of their releases, like a canary in the coal mine to some impending disaster. Their previous album, The Dead Are Screaming, was conceived and recorded mid-year 2019, followed by half of their home country burning to the ground. Now this album was recorded in early 2020, and we all know what happened soon after that. Says drummer Dave Haley, "We really fucked the world when we decided to do a second album, with bassist and vocalist Sam Bean predicting that the next two will be marked by war and famine to come soon after. They continue in promising that this one severely decreases the intellect of the previous effort, replacing any remaining IQ with sheer BPM, jamming as much searing hatred into every track as possible. What follows is a truly unstoppable bulldozer of venomous death grind that is all gas and no brakes. If you enjoy pummeling music from the likes of Cattle Decapitation, Vitriol, and Cryptopsy, Werewolves are about to be your new best friend."
Did we just become best friends? Yup!
The aptly titled What a Time to Be Alive seems like the perfect ode to the last year distilled down into a very dense and destructive 35-minute runtime. We've also got blackened sludge, hardcore, metalcore, difficult to classify band Portrayal of Guilt and their new 2020 album We Are Always Alone via Closed Casket Activities. We Are Always Alone is filthy, nasty music that moves pretty far beyond their original kind of screamo and metalcore influenced sound in favor of something that should be much more pleasing to fans of bands like Lord Mantis and Vermin Womb. With highly confrontational tracks like It's Already Over, Masochistic Oath, Anesthetized, They Want Us All to Suffer, some of each are accompanied by an equally violent horror movie short. Portrayal of Guilt have really stepped up their game on this one and delivered easily their best material so far. You gotta love the grody aesthetic of the riffs and absolutely demented screams. I only hope to see them lean even further into this new direction with more vile and off-putting results. Next up, it's Juan Bond and their new album Womb via Dark Trail Records. Juan Bond is a New York City-based mathcore and self-described weirdo metal band I previously covered on my Bands Like the Dillinger Escape Plan video. Their self-titled EP was definitely a standout release for me in 2017, and 3 years later they've really stepped things up with this full length. Think the Dillinger Escape Plan, but with more melodic offshoots. Garbage Juice is a really great place to start as it offers a nice cross-section of the band's various stylistic avenues, offering a veritable circus of mathcore mayhem. And you hardcore Dillinger fans will probably find yourself right at home with the intro of Papa's Got a Brand New Bed. Things can get a little bit weird from here, but if you're down for it, I promise the experience will be worthwhile, especially if you're a fan of the genre in general. Be sure to check out my full review of this album as well for even more thoughts. Then a surprise pick and more of a shout out that showed up in my inbox a little bit later than any of these others was Scarred with their self-titled album via Clonosphere Records and Season of Mist. This is a Luxembourg-based technical and progressive metal group that was promised to please fans of Gojira, Revocation, and Silosis, and it definitely lives up to that hype. All it took was a quick sampling of opening track Mirage and its furiously proggy, harmonic-infused riffs to prove that this album warranted further inspection. If nothing else, this track alone is worth adding to your 2021 Spotify playlist. I will say that overall I found the album to be a little bit inconsistent, but its best moments definitely leave me excited for Scarred's potential moving forward. For a more in-depth analysis, you can check out Chris's written review on metaltrenches.com. And that's it, y'all. Those are my favorite albums of the month of January. Now it's your turn. Let me know down in the comments what were your favorite albums this month, which ones do you agree with, which ones do you disagree, and what did I miss? Let's get it going down there. Don't forget to hit that like button, and hey, stick around because I got plenty more videos coming right after this one. Full album reviews for most of the albums on this list, actually. Interviews with bands on the podcast, tier lists, you name it, we've got it. So plenty of reasons to subscribe if you have not already. Also chat with us on Discord and support us on Patreon. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.